Hello guys, it's me Simon Orahara. Happy New Year. May your dreams come true in this year guys, and wishing you and your beloved ones a happy and healthy new year. So in this video guys, we're going to talk about Ichigo's mask and why he no longer uses it, especially in the Fullbring arc, as well as about the holification in general, because this topic is still somewhat mysterious. And I don't think that Kobo has given us satisfied answers about some of the matters that have something to do with holification in general. So, in order to talk about Ichigo's mask, we must talk about the reason that made Ichigo want to wear that mask in the first place. The reason, as everyone knows, is because of the Hollow White, whose control over Ichigo increased as Ichigo's strength and the intensity of the battles he fought increased also. And the climax of this matter was when Ichigo fought Byakuya. White appeared for the first time and controlled Ichigo for some moments, and was one of the direct reasons of why Ichigo won that fight. Of course, the mask as a shape appeared before this. So the first appearance of the mask was in Urahara's training. Then it appeared in Ichigo's fight against Rinji, and then in front of Zaraki. But the mask was not on Ichigo's face at the time. But as I said, the problems started when White suddenly appeared in front of Byakuya and spoke and fought in Ichigo's place. There Ichigo began to feel that the Hollow was trying to eat him from the inside. Then Hirako, who represented the Wizard, appeared as a group that's capable of helping Ichigo and capable of making him control the power of his Hollow, because Hirako thought they are the same. And the last point guys is where the big difference lies. In reality, Ichigo is not like the Wizard. Ichigo is a special case on its own. Yes, it is true that the Wizard and Ichigo share the issue of having the power of Hollow inside them. But the difference is that Ichigo's Hollow is not the Hollow that the Wizard has. Because what is the definition that we have about the holification? According to Urahara Kizuki, holification is the insertion of a Hollow soul into another soul, so that the barriers between the Hollow soul and the other soul are broken. And in the case of the Shinigami, it was in order to strengthen the Konpaku. But if we go back to the Wizard, the Hollows was inserted into their bodies and they already possesses a Zanpakuto and a Shikai, and for the captains even Bankai. Of course, we don't know exactly how Aizen put those souls into the Wizard, but according to the definition we have about the holification, it's a Hollow soul that enters inside another soul. As for Ichigo, what entered Ichigo's soul is not an ordinary Hollow. Rather, it was a Hollow that's composed of several Shinigami souls, and this is the major point between the Wizard and Ichigo, because Ichigo's Hollow is essentially his Zanpakuto, being created from several Shinigami souls, which is the same way Nimaya created Asauchi. So White was a vassal for Ichigo's Shinigami power. So it can be said that Ichigo's Hollow is an integral part of Ichigo's power because it was born with him and forms his Zanpakuto. While the Wizard, the Hollow they have is an alien element and it's like an independent entity. That is, the Hollow inside them is pure Hollow power. The opposite of White, who is an Asauchi with Hollow characteristics. And this is why the Wizard were wrong in the first place, just as Ichigo was wrong in the way he dealt with what was supposed to be just a Hollow power and nothing else. And because they believed that Ichigo was like them, they offered him the option of controlling the power of the Hollow on the basis that it was just a pure Hollow, like them. But the truth is something else. Ichigo's mask is a part of his Shinigami power. Unlike the Wizard, this power is the power of the Hollow, nothing else. Therefore, when I look at this situation, guys, I try to look at it from two angles. The first one is the truth that we have about Ichigo's power and that was revealed in the final arc, which is that White is Ichigo's Zanpakuto, and also from the fact that Ichigo was seeing White as a mere Hollow, nothing else. So for all of this, and in my opinion, the mask was in reality only part of Ichigo's Shinigami power that he was developing without knowing it. Therefore, and for a period of time, he was in a constant conflict with White, especially since it gave him great power. So he needed that power to win his battles, which became more difficult with every new enemy he faced. However, at the same time, he saw that White's power, which he thought was just the power of a holo, was just a burden on him, especially in his relationship with Orihime, and this was evident in his battle against Grimijo and exploded in his battle against Ilquiora. Therefore, Ichigo's belief that the mask is nothing but a cursed holo power that solves a problem for him and brings him a lot of suffering made him hesitate to use that power, especially after the battle of Ilquiora, as well as in the Fullbring arc. Because I think from my point of view, this is one of the factors that made Ichigo not want to return to use the mask again. And also the enemy at the time wasn't a big deal. I'm speaking here about Ginjo. I mean, Ginjo didn't force Ichigo to awaken White like happened with Ilquiora. It's true that some says that Ichigo no longer needs that mask because the power of the mask was manifested in his Fullbring Bankai. It could be that. But in reality, there is no evidence for this matter. Because in fact, the power of the Fullbring is not the power of holo, but rather a close to the holo power. This is the definition that we have about the Fullbring. And Ichigo from the beginning never had the power of holo and Shinigami in different places. From the beginning, and as Nehemiah said, White was merged with the Shinigami power of Ichigo, and was the reason for Ichigo obtaining his Zanpakuto in the first place. And more than this, White and the Osan from the beginning were one entity. As we saw with Ichigo's fight against Zaraki, we noticed how White returned to the Osan, and also as White said during his fight against Ichigo, when he said that I am and the Osan one person, because it's not like some believe that the merger occurred when Ichigo fought White and the Osan in the Dangai. Rather, I found what happened in the Dangai is one of the important points that shows White wearing the mask in the full form of Ichigo's Shinigami power. I mean, look at this scene. When the Osan and White were merged, they formed this horn, which is the same form as the Horn of Salvation with which Ichigo will appear once White is awakened. Therefore, if the mask was truly incarnated in the Fullbring's Bankai, then why we saw this version of the mask in the Horn of Salvation? I'm speaking here about the horn. The answer, in my opinion, is that basically the mask, as I said, is nothing but a manifestation of the special Shinigami power of Ichigo. Previously, the mask was incomplete without a horn, and in the Horn of Salvation, it was complete after Ichigo knew his true power. In the end, guys, and to be clear, Kubo didn't give us an explanation as to why Ichigo didn't use the mask after Ichigo regained his Shinigami power. There is no scene where Ichigo speaks and says that I no longer use the mask because my power is embodied in my Fullbring Bankai, or even what I said about the issue that it's a personal desire and has a psychological dimensions due to what happened to him previously. That's why I said that this matter needs an explanation from Kubo about that period of the story. And one of the possibilities may be true, but for me, and given what I saw at the end of the story, Ichigo didn't use the mask again because he originally developed the mask into the Horn of Salvation. The Horn of Salvation can be considered the last version of Ichigo's mask, through which he embodies the harmony of his powers after knowing the power of the holo combined with his Shinigami power, which represents the Zanpakuto White, the long sword, and the Quincy power in the short sword. So guys, what do you think about this subject? Tell me what you think in the comments, and see you guys in my next video.